OK, let's get ready for the 6th race of the season. Sit back and enjoy what's sure to be another memorable Azerbaijan Grand Prix. Over to you, Alex.
Thank you, Lee. Hello, everyone. Welcome trackside to the unique challenge of Baku. Part street circuit, part World Heritage Site, part drag strip. It all adds up to a spectacular venue, and it's been a weekend of shock so far. Ferrari have spent most of the weekend saying that they aren't that fast, and yet they lead the field away on this formation lap. I think Lando Norris, who has a 3-place penalty, was slow off the line there, and it's why at the back Antonio Giovinazzi has barely moved from the grid slots. We go on board with Max Verstappen. Let's check you in with the predicted race stop strategy. The medium tyre, the soft tyre, it's just falling apart. So they're looking to go from the soft or the medium to the hard for the rest of the race. A one-stop strategy is the fastest. Max Verstappen was so disappointed yesterday. A shock Ferrari pole for the 2nd weekend in a row, but it's an entirely different circuit, this one, Mark.
Yes, it sure is, mate. I think that I'm fascinated to see how Charles Leclerc goes out in front here. I'm not sure how long they can hold back a Hamilton, hold back a Verstappen, hold back the extraordinary pit stops of Red Bull. Ferrari are world class, we know that, but I think his lap yesterday was extraordinary, and he's a little bit out of position. Can you believe he's on pole position? That's where he's out of position, which is a phenomenal achievement. And look at the energy they're putting in these tyres too on the formation lap. They're really trying to even get these softs, cranked up with as much energy in the front axle as he can. Lewis wants to have the confidence on the first lap. We're on board with Valtteri here, but the energy in the front sector is going to be important.
We've got a few drivers out of position on the grid due to a qualifying session with 4 red flags, joint most ever in a Formula One qualifying session. Sergio Perez is going to be a driver trying to make his way through, trying to keep Red Bull in the lead of the Constructors' Championship, Billy.
Sergio Perez could play a crucial role in Max Verstappen's Grand Prix today, let alone his own. I mean, the first lap is going to probably affect and change what his kind of role for Max is going to play out today, but Max is going to be one on a mission, and Red Bull can use him if they need to. If he goes long on the first stint, to kind of manage the gaps, to hold people up if they need. There's lots of people across the grid today that could play crucial roles for their teammates.
Ferrari versus Mercedes versus Red Bull. It is a wide open race at a track which always delivers action. The return of the Azerbaijan Grand Prix is next. Slotting into place, Antonio Giovinazzi, who will be trying to make progress from the back next to Lance Stroll. Both of them crash at Q1. Green flag at the back tells us it's time to go racing on the streets of Baku. Lights out for the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. Pole sitter gets a good reaction as they make the 100-meter run to turn 1 with Charles Leclerc in the lead. Top 3 stay as they are. Are they all going to get through the first turn? Are they going to play the long game? Very well behaved as we go to turn 2. Exactly what the Monegasque driver wanted. Lock up for Carlos Sainz. It's going to send him deep. Is he going to make the corner? Yes, he is. So they're trying to get temperature in the tyres and the brakes. They've all made it through as they stream down to turn number 3 as they were. And it's not the frantic start that we were expecting. Very close there. Coming through is Sergio Perez, and he goes around the outside of Pierre Gasly. That's huge for Red Bull's race, and a tidy move from the Mexican driver.
Yes, crucial for him. He's been on the back foot for the first few Grand Prix this year in terms of out of position after average qualifying. Now is where he needs to be. Top 4. There's another good battle there. We've had a few switcheroos in the back of the field. There's a McLaren trying to hustle his way on the inside of an Alpine there, but all the big boys are away nice and clean. The whole field is, for that matter, away nice and clean. Look at the McLarens down the inside. We've got Norris defending heavily against his teammate Daniel Ricciardo. The two out.
Oh, and Stroll, and it's nearly a traffic jam, nearly stationary Lance Stroll as he tries to make places. Charles Leclerc, Hamilton, then Verstappen. Up 2 places is Sergio Perez, then down 1 is Gasly, down 1 is Sainz. Alonso has gained 1. Tsunoda has lost 1. 9th place is Vettel as they make their way through the fast sweepers on the opening lap of the Grand Prix.
Verstappen looking super racy in the middle of the second sector there. He's going to try and put pressure on Hamilton at the end of this first lap already. Norris has lost 3 positions, so he's at an average first lap as well.
Antonio Giovinazzi has gained 5 places at the start. You see it on the left-hand side, up to 15th, and his teammate Kimi Räikkönen have gained positions at every first lap this year. That ends because he's only in 14th position where he started this Grand Prix. Norris had a poor getaway. He's in 3rd. Hamilton, without DRS, is close to the wheel tracks. He put a skinny rear wing on that car yesterday, backed himself to make it through the tight and twisty technical part of the racetrack, and he was all over the back of the leader, now putting pressure on Ocon. Lando Norris in the McLaren trying to recover a couple of positions that he's lost, and George Russell has tumbled down the order to 20th position. What has happened to Russell as the McLarens go side by side, and Daniel Ricciardo gets past Lando Norris for 12th. We're back to the battle for the lead. Hamilton chasing Leclerc. Into the pits comes George Russell, so not what he needed. He puts on the hard tyres early on, and Norris has got Ricciardo back. Let's go back to the start of the race.
Yeah, watch, they're all away pretty evenly, actually. It was actually Gasly that got a poor start off the inside of the second row there in the AlphaTauri. He still managed to hold on to 4th. Everyone's calm at the back. We've got the Haas's having a bit of a crack at each other. But that's a dream start for Leclerc. Lewis was just nice and defensive, and Max was looking for the nice clean run onto the back straight. Sainz did lock up there, double lock up, so both left front and front right, so he'd have been quite nervous. So we go on board down the outside with Stroll here. What's he going to do on this curve here? That's going to be interesting. Oh yeah, contact with Schumacher. Tag the right rear of Mick Schumacher there. Mazepin sandwich. Oh, that's tricky for him. Threads his way through there nicely. Well done, young fella.
And Mazepin is running behind his teammate, so Schumacher was able to regain his composure. Looks a good run for Lewis Hamilton, hustling that car on the exit of turn 16.
The Ferrari's looking vulnerable already for me. Watch this at the end of this straight. This is going to be extraordinary. He's got a big toe. Look at him. He's worried already.
We're on lap 2. We're about to go on lap 3, and the world champion is chasing down the race leader. Ferrari have led a lap for the first time since 2019, but say goodbye. Lewis Hamilton takes the lead at the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. He does it so early that Leclerc's got a chance to fight back, but Hamilton's done it. He's taken P1. He's made the move early, and he's got past the Ferrari to take the lead of a race where Mercedes were struggling to even get in the top 10 earlier in the weekend. What a turnaround that is. Pierre Gasly has the fastest lap of the race. Lewis Hamilton has the race lead.
Yes, and I think this just demonstrates how phenomenal Leclerc's lap was yesterday. I think the Ferrari in race trim is not as competitive. He's really a bit of a sitting duck at the moment, especially on that straight. Lewis Hamilton, here's the replay. Oh, he had to go with some debris there. They both hit that, actually. Max had to go inside the curb at turn 15. Let's have a look on the right-hand side here. Watch that. There's a branch. I think it might have been just some leaves, is it? It's hard to pick it up there, but they don't want any of that in their front and brake ducts or radiators, so they're both nervous about that, taking avoiding action. That's fair enough. And here's the passing move. Huge slipstream down the front straight. And give him a little wave as you go through. Thanks very much. Look at the bottoming, the car, the vibration there. So terminal speed, 320k an hour now.
Lewis Hamilton trying to build a lead, trying to get out of DRS range. Crucial now for Max Verstappen, after a difficult qualifying session, to do the same as Hamilton and try and clear that Ferrari. He's going to do it with the use of DRS. As we go onto the main straight, what's the terminal speed like? Will he have the confidence on the brakes? He thinks about it. The Ferrari keeps him at bay. Verstappen losing time all the time. He has to sit there. He'd put in the fastest lap of the race to try and close the gap to the Scarlet car.
Yes, interesting phase of the race now. Obviously, Leclerc's getting a bit of a DRS off Hamilton as well, so he'll pull back up on the back of Lewis just on this straight here, but Hamilton is already managing this. Look at that. So they're tight again, but I think Lewis will be really magical through this back of this first sector into the second sector. And then Verstappen's got to clear Leclerc as quick as he can, because Max wants to be controlling, again, that first stop. He wants to be putting pressure at least on Mercedes, where the undercut, the overcut's in play. What do you reckon, Billy?
Yeah, just looking at the last sector, that train and the DRS and all the slipstreaming going on, they're quicker in that last sector than they were in qualifying yesterday, where they had all the fuel out of the car. They're 3 tenths quicker in that last sector than then. So the cars in that slipstream, the straight line speed is incredible right now.
Esteban Ocon in the top 10 of the World Championship. He scored points in the last 4 races, but he seems to be retiring. The Alpine car on lap 4 pushed back into the garage. Let's have a look at what happened to the man who hit the wall in qualifying.
I lost power, lost power.
And it's as simple as that. And mechanical gremlins causing the end of his race.
And Lando, overtaking feedback on Bottas, please.
Yeah, not very easy. Not that easy. But he's making a lot of mistakes, so you have to give me a chance.
Yeah, well, a bit of feedback there for Valtteri's driving consistency. We've got some DRS action here with both Leclerc and Verstappen. He's got a double toe Verstappen. Can he get it done? No, he can't. So it's still neutralising itself. The top speed, 344 kilometres an hour for Verstappen as they went through the trap there. So Lewis is controlling this. Is he over-controlling it? Has he got anything left in the tank? Does he want a bit of a gap? Who knows? But I tell you, one guy that's really struggling, guys, Valtteri Bottas. He's in strife already. He's 11 seconds back, 6 laps into this Grand Prix. He's got a long afternoon ahead.
Valtteri Bottas maintaining his grid position. The top 3 basically glued together here. So Hamilton, Leclerc and Verstappen, they're going to try and go as far as possible because Mercedes were struggling to warm up the soft tyres, let alone the hard tyres around here. Hamilton, could he be playing a tactical game, keeping them at bay for the time being? I don't think anyone is comfortable when you've got a Ferrari just a few tenths of a second away, but he's staying in the DRS for the time being as they go past the 12th century walls and then the tight and technical part of the circuit before they open it up in the final sector of the lap.
It normally takes a Grand Prix car about 5 or 6 laps that all the temperatures settle in. You know, the water, oil, brakes, so everything now is starting to come right up to temperature. The engineers will be looking at that, so they'll get a real guide, especially tyres as well, a real guide of where the ceiling are on some of these temperatures. Now Leclerc again he's right on the bubble of 1 second to see if he's going to get the DRS here, and he probably will, because by the time he gets to the DRS line he'll probably get a bit of a slipstream without the DRS. Let's see if he can get it, or Max might have him on his own here. Has Max got him on his own for the first time?
First time in the Grand Prix that Max Verstappen has had DRS and Charles Leclerc has not. The driver who dropped out of the lead early on as they moved on to lap 3 is going to struggle to hang on to third place. Max Verstappen moves ahead and takes second place in the Grand Prix. And now the top 2 in the championship are about to go wheel to wheel. Once again, here's Yuki Tsunoda trying to get past Fernando Alonso in the left-hand box. And Tsunoda is going to recover to where he started this Grand Prix. He's up to 7th. So a tidy move for Max Verstappen, gaining that position. And now we'll find out whether Hamilton was backing them up or whether he can dart clear, because his main rival in the championship is right there.
Here's the move here. First time that Leclerc didn't get the DRS because Lewis had too big a lead over him just outside that 1 second buffer. And that was a slam dunk. Look, position himself to the right, so he's also got Lewis's toe. The mechanics look ecstatic with that. Slow-mo doesn't do it justice. They're pumped up. And their boy's now on the charge. Can he start to put a little bit of heat on the back of Lewis?
Copy.
Okay, I think Hamilton's struggling a little bit with balance. He's reporting it being on the nose.
On the nose means that the aerodynamic balance is forward, so he's struggling to control the rear of the car. I can see a little bit of a shine. Here's Perez now on Leclerc. Again, Leclerc isolated on this straight. He's getting drilled. He's got no top speed to be able to rebuff this fight from the big boys coming through. So 2-3 for Red Bull. They're now in the box seat. They've got 2 dogs in the fight now against Hamilton. But that comment that Lewis made on the nose means that he can't really trust the rear of the car, and if there's anyone that can handle that, obviously it's Lewis. But just have a look at the shine. We want to look at his right rear tyre. If it's got a little bit extra wear in the middle, it looks okay. So we've got their first pit stop for Norris.
So Norris comes in, and he's come in with Fernando Alonso as well. Antonio Giovinazzi and George Russell rolled the dice and came in super early. Didn't appear to be any damage for them, so they were just going on the alternative strategy, maybe looking at a 2-stop, hoping to get the advantage later on if we got a safety car. Enthralling race this one, because Hamilton unable to sprint clear, and Red Bull, as you say, 2 strategic options, and the driver in 3rd place now, a master at a long stint, as we saw in Portugal, as we've seen throughout his career.
Important phase of the race. Head down.
Because we're getting close to the pit stop windows, and that pit stop from Lando Norris. He said, give me the chance to get past. If I can't get past, then go with plan A. And what plan A looks to be, Billy, was an early stop.
Yeah, it looks like they've decided to get Lando out of that traffic and put him into, well, I mean, he's still behind another car. Fernando Alonso is already pitted as well, so he's got about a second and a half to find that. But I think the main key point there is the fact that they've switched onto those hard tyres. They're going to hopefully take them to the end of the race. And Sergio Perez in 3rd. He's got the fastest lap of the race. So as much as he can play a role for Max Verstappen, he's going to be thinking about his own Grand Prix. He's going to be trying to close that gap. He's only just over a second behind Max Verstappen, so he can get into DRS of his own teammate. We could see Red Bulls going down to turn 1 pretty close together again.
We've heard that one before, and we saw what happened. Just trying to stabilise himself in the race. He's got his good friend Pierre Gasly behind him now in 5th. And Ferrari will be hoping that they can outpace an AlphaTauri around this circuit. Further back, the other AlphaTauri coming under a little bit of attack from Sebastian Vettel. We saw Tsunoda making the move. He's having his best weekend since the start of the season.
What are we doing?
We will go to plan A, trying to clear Kimi at the back.
Talking about building that gap, you need about 21 seconds to clearly make it out of the pits, including pit stop time of the car in front, and they're looking at Kimi Räikkönen as the car they're trying to clear.
That's right, so he's got to get about another 3 seconds. Looking at the monitors here, 3 to 4 seconds over Kimi Räikkönen, so he can get out and warm those hard tyres up. I assume if he goes to one stop and puts the hard tyres on, which is not going to be easy, guys, to get the hard tyres warmed up. So the overcut, so pitting early is not necessarily going to be a slam dunk to get the move done. And if you do, try to get that fresh rubber fired up early to do a quicker lap time on the outlap. So That's going to be extraordinary, but I'm watching Lewis here. He really is, you know, certainly turned into turn one on that previous lap, and it looked very edgy for him. So he'll be very keen to get off these tyres as soon as possible, but not too early because he doesn't want to do too long a stint on the next set. But he can adjust his front wing. He will adjust his front wing probably at the first pit stop. The boys will be in to do that very quickly for him.
On the medium tyres in Friday practice, Mercedes looked a lot happier than the softer compound.
Yuki, we need to push harder on tires. They are looking good now. We need to open the gap to Vettel. You can push harder. Push flat out.
Yeah, shut up!
Yuki Tsunoda will have to apologise for that one later on. He's been moved to Italy, and one of the Ferraris coming into the pits there. It's Charles Leclerc who's come in, and he will change. So he was asking, what are we doing strategy-wise, which was basically translated, I want to come in and get rid of these tyres.
Pretty smooth.
Yuki Tsunoda in as well. That's why he was being given the hurry up on the radio. He takes on the hard tyres as well. The team have moved him to Italy as Charles Leclerc comes out. And as Ferrari intended, they were waiting for the gap to Kimi. They've got the gap to Kimi. Why were they looking at Kimi Raikkonen? Because he's on the medium tyres and he's going to be going longer. They didn't want to have to pass him on the hards. The information of how quickly it takes to warm up these hard tyres is going to be very, very useful for the drivers at the front of the field.
A balance check when you can.
Yeah, it's a real struggle at the rear. You'll probably do another lap or so.
So Hamilton coming on the radio and saying another lap. Is that a bit of kidology? As the second Ferrari pits from 6th position. Here comes Carlos Sainz and back out into the Grand Prix. Interesting to see where he filters out. Back to the front of the field. Hamilton clearly struggling now with what's left of those red-walled Pirelli tyres. 0.8 of a second between. Perez had the fastest lap of the race last time around.
Just looking down the order to the guys who've already put on the hard tyre, this is the man I was just about to talk about, Lando Norris. He's making moves and he's also producing some great lap times. A 1:46.9, a 10th of Sergio Perez on that hard tyre, but he's quicker than Hamilton. He's making them work.
He's making it work on track as well with that move around the outside of the two-time world champion. We've got a yellow flag in the middle part of the lap. Do we have Carlos Sainz static? Yes, we do. It's the Ferrari of Carlos Sainz who's gone deep into the entry. And you can see very nearly reverses into the path of Antonio Giovinazzi. And there were millimetres between the two of them.
Yeah, that was a close shave.
Hamilton's come into the pits.
Yes, I was about to say they've got to, because it's the hards are looking really good with Norris, as Billy said, and they have to react to Leclerc, because Leclerc, slow pit stop again.
So Mercedes having a 4.6 second pit stop, and that, if Red Bull can have a clean stop, is not just going to clear one of them, could potentially clear both of them. So let's see where Stroll comes out as well. In comes Bottas, so Mercedes under pressure in the pit stop. Bottas back out into the Grand Prix, and Hamilton filtering out in 4th position. So That is a real nightmare for Mercedes. Red Bull will want to respond immediately. Bottas comes out behind, and Max Verstappen going to work in the first sector of the lap. And he puts in a 37.8, fastest first sector of the race so far. Norris was able to clear Valtteri Bottas, who has the DRS open, trying to come back. It's been such a tough weekend for him. When you consider that this is one of his strongest racetracks, he's led the most laps before the start of the Grand Prix today compared to anyone else in the field. Only Nico Rosberg has more laps led around this circuit before today. This is the moment that set Carlos Sainz deep at turn number 8.
Just expecting some front locking there, and he's got that.
Sorry, guys.
Yes. Well, when you're trying to get a harder compound warmed up, he's gone in there maybe with a different brake balance from the tyres that he took up, which were older. It's not easy. It's a really tricky phase for a Grand Prix driver after a pit stop to find the right balance. And let's see who pits here. I think Verstappen will take this all day long. He's coming in.
Box and pit confirm, Max. Box and pit confirm.
And a relaxed stop for Red Bull. Pretty relaxed. They're just going to go through the motions. It's all in the muscle memory. What have they got? Low 2.
Let's find out. It's exactly what you'd expect from the Red Bull pit crew, who've been so good with stops. We're on board with Lewis Hamilton. He's on the pit straight, the 2.2 kilometre blast for turn number 1. It's a 1.9 second stop, though, for Max Verstappen, who just about keeps it on the road on pit exit, I should say, and Max Verstappen clears Lewis Hamilton to take the net race lead here in Azerbaijan.
By a country mile. It was a beautiful in-lap. The boys delivered in the pit lane. Lewis will be frustrated with that stop, obviously. Did what he could. Perez is going purple now on his in-lap too. I think they're emptying these batteries on the in-lap so the way they can sort of deploy the energy to make sure they have really big in-laps as well. So here's the pit stop from Hamilton. What went wrong? Was it... Oh, they're just waiting for that car, were they? I think they were just waiting for the release, or was it left rear? Radio.
How is he so far ahead of me?
No, we had hold at the stop.
And as you saw, that late release to the pit lane from the stop has cost Lewis Hamilton, and he was surprised by the gap. It might be about to get worse for the former race leader, because it's a faster sector in the first part of the lap for Sergio Perez, and then in the second sector as well for the Mexican driver. Red Bull looking at a 1-2 potentially here. What sort of lap can he put together? He might even be putting pressure on his teammate who was just ahead. The second Red Bull is heading to the pit lane. Crucial stop, and he carried a lot of speed in there. They practiced that all weekend long.
Nice. Watch the cameraman. What have they got for him? Is it around 2 seconds will be enough, I think, to cover Lewis? It's going to be a very, very interesting pit out here. Oh, it's slow!
It's an uncharacteristically slow stop, 4.3 for Perez, and they put him back out. It means that Vettel now takes the lead of the Grand Prix, but there goes Sebastian Vettel. And he comes out. Now, crucially, is Perez going to get out ahead of Lewis Hamilton to make it a 1-2? A net 1-2 in the race. He will, despite the slow stop. Lewis Hamilton's fastest lap wasn't enough. But remember, these tyres are difficult to warm up. There's another opportunity as they head to turn 3.
Watch this. This is going to be fascinating. DRS. Hamilton is on hot tyres as well. Perez on the brakes. Job done. That's it. So he can warm his tyres up now. He's got all this twisty stuff where Hamilton has no options to get the move done. So Perez has done really well out of that. Red Bull have done well out of that. They've got both cars now, 1-2. And this is where Hamilton needs Valtteri Bottas, but he's nowhere to be seen. Lewis has taken the hits on his own.
you, Lewis. I agree with you there. Just do what you can.
This is Daniel Ricciardo on board with the Australian driver, lining up and overtaking Fernando Alonso down into turn one, and that's far more what we're used to.
Nicely done, Daniel, nicely done.
After a tough campaign where he has been outshone by Lando Norris, he's trying to keep tabs with his teammate, who is up in 9th position. Ricciardo trying to return to the points, and Ricciardo, after qualifying 7 places behind Norris, losing a position at the start in Monaco. Really tough day. He's a former winner here, and he's putting some of that knowledge to use around this circuit, trying to get back into the points. So Sebastian Vettel in the lead of the race. Haven't said that for a while. Now the stats we haven't said for a while. Red Bull 1-2s. They haven't scored one since 2016 in Malaysia, when Daniel Ricciardo led home Max Verstappen.
And that was a fruity race too, mate, wasn't it? Weren't they into each other, side by side, through the quick stuff?
They were. Thrilling stuff.
Still happy here. All good here.
Pace is good. Just keep it up.
Sebastian could put the mediums on. He could be the only guy that actually, if he goes deep enough on this first set, everyone else is having to put their hards on because they stopped early. Sebastian actually could entertain a set of mediums depending on how much further he can go, which would be interesting. And Lewis has just done the fastest lap of the Grand Prix at 45.6. So, as we'd expect, he's got potential, Hamilton, hasn't he? He doesn't give up. He's got potential. We'll give him that.
I think that's fair to say, Mark.
Look after that right rear, Max. That's the peak tyre temp.
So that's the outside tyre, obviously, around this venue. There's a lot of energy going through that. He can control that with his right foot. So it's on the right side of the car, but also it's his right foot, just with a slip, as Sebastian does pit now.
Fantastic opening stint for Sebastian Vettel, who will attempt to come out ahead of Yuki Tsunoda. That's where he's aiming for, as once again Hamilton wringing all he's got out of the Mercedes, and he's still tucked up behind Perez, which, given the Red Bull has been slightly more damaging on their tyres across the whole of this season, the check in the wing mirror tells you all you need to know. Now, does Vettel get out ahead of Tsunoda? Yes, he does, comfortably in the end, and he's got a good buffer there over the AlphaTauri driver. He's claimed 7th place, and he's got much fresher tyres to go and attack his old team. The next driver up the road is his old teammate, Charles Leclerc. Out in 7th for the 4-time world champion. And this is a strong recovery drive from a competitor who's made a habit of them in his Formula One career. Now the responsibility is different. Now it's about repeating podiums. And if you want to be really useful, if you want to earn another contract with the team leading the Constructors' Championship, keep that guy at bay. The problem is that guy is a 7-time world champion, and he just revels in trying to pull out a magical upset. And it would be an upset when you see the baseline pace of the Red Bull this weekend.
To keep up in the middle sector.
Verstappen, Perez, Hamilton, the top three. But Verstappen controlling this at the moment. He's about to cut the beam with what looks likely to be the fastest lap of the race so far. Fastest first and second sectors. Hamilton currently has the bonus point for fast lap in his possession. Let's see whether he can put it all together as he comes across the line. It's a long blast down to the start-finish line. And in the end, it was a personal best, but not ultimately the fastest lap for the leader of the Grand Prix now by 3.2 seconds.
The leader's covered by less than a tenth of a second on that lap. A 45.7 for Verstappen, a 45.7 for Perez, and a 45.8 for Lewis. So the top three, there's not much between them. Here we are on board with Valtteri again, end of straight. What's he got with Norris?
Oh, Valtteri, you get through him and you'll be fighting for P5.
Yeah, the engineer's trying to encourage him, but you know, Norris is pretty handy. He's got a good car on the brakes. He loves the McLaren, as we know, so he's going to be confident in these narrow streets of Baku as well. So it's not going to be an easy move for Valtteri, and he's got a heavy wing car, don't forget. He's the opposite to Hamilton. He's fast in the twisty stuff and slow on the straight, so it's going to be even harder for him to probably get the move done, because he's quick on his own, but around other cars it's going to be a struggle for him. Carlos and Giovinazzi, the bit of a Latino blood here.
Never-ending story. This has been going on for a while.
He should get it done here, though. Let's see how this DRS works. What's he got? Here we go. Come on, come on, come on. Here we come, here we come. Here we go.
Defensive move from the Italian. The Italian car pulls alongside. The Ferrari goes past, and Carlos Sainz finally, after plenty of laps of trying, is able to clear the car on older hard tyres and move up to 13th place, paying the price dearly for that error at the tightest part of the racetrack. A lock up there that sent him deep. Here's how he made the move.
Yes, not the easiest of move. Obviously, he knew he was on the inside somewhere. It's easy for us watching this on TV. You look outside, you've got all these beautiful camera positions as a driver. It's very hard to have a real good reference from the inside of where he is. So, good clean move there from Carlos, and hopefully he can get his head down now and pull away.
Losing ground.
Okay, still happy with everything at this stage from our end. Just stay focused, especially that gust of tailwind into turn 4.
Okay, so the wind is moving around. That's good comms from the pit wall there, because as the driver, you can only sometimes see the flags. You get a feel from the car when it's moving around, but sometimes it's too late. And if you can get any extra information from your engineer that the wind direction is changing or it's increasing in its intensity, that's important as well. I think Hamilton is running out of bullets here at the moment. He's struggling to hold on to the back of these two Red Bulls. Here's Valtteri Bottas running wide in 16. Yeah, that's clumsy too. Yeah, watch him lose just understeer wide, and then he's hemorrhaged a huge amount of lap time onto closing that lap. So I think the Red Bulls are taking control of this Grand Prix right now. And I tell you what, Perez, this is his territory now. Long stints on hard tyres, he's magical.
Yellow flag in the first part of the lap. Nikita Mazepin has gone deep into turn number 4. And he fires it up again to continue in the race, and Red Bull will breathe a sigh of relief at that one, because they do not want any hint of a safety car, anything to interrupt their momentum. You saw with the graphic at the bottom a few moments ago that the championship standings look great for Red Bull at the moment, and they are delivering on the pace that that car first showed in pre-season testing. They've had a few bumps along the way, only took the championship leads in race 5, but in race 6 they are thoroughly extending their lead both in the points and on track at the moment, as Verstappen and Perez trade times at the front of the field. This is what happened to the Russian driver Nikita Mazepin.
Just a front lock-up down there into turn 4 there. I don't think they were cheering about Nikita Mazepin doing that.
Yeah, the advantage of having a balcony that overlooks a Grand Prix circuit. It's street circuit season for Formula 1. This one completely different to Monaco, though. Carlos Sainz is in the wheel tracks. He's already passed 1 Alpha. Now he's lining up his hero, Fernando Alonso. and he's easily passed in the Ferrari.
Here's the replay of Carlos just doing the move on Fernando. Fernando, you know, super cooperative, just pulls over the right-hand side. Still full throttle, mind you, but you know, he's not going to overly defend that one and lose each other, you know, a lot of time together.
Will they think about rolling the dice? James Vowles there looking on, looking at the strategic options for Mercedes. They know that Hamilton's quick in a straight line. Will they pull what they did in Spain, try and get new rubber on that car to put pressure on Red Bull? Because in a straight fight, in a straight one-stop right now, they do not have the pace to match either driver.
Yes, this is not over in terms of strategy. There's going to be something wacky go on here, I think. Max has got so much speed, he can react though. If Merck try to do something curly with a strategy, I think they can react to that. So that's a disappointing thing for Merck, but they could try something different, put some fresh tyres on at some point. If there's any, you know, if there's a safety car and we go replay with Stroll here, just looking at that front right tyre. He's had a lock up at some point by the looks of it. It's got a little flat spot on there. See the rest of the car sort of vibrating around hard on the brakes there.
And he's been on those tyres since the start of the race, so he's the benchmark for the guys up the front to see when those tyres are going to let go, start blistering, all those sort of issues that may come into their own races later on.
Let's hear from Valtteri Bottas.
If we don't overtake, we're going to finish 10th or 9th.
Yeah, I think that it's not a good place for Valtteri Bottas right now in that team. I think he took the Monaco pit stop very, very hard. They've been in the press between each other, which has been challenging. Qualifying with the slipstream for Lewis, even though they said it was Lewis's turn, but I think there might have been something in there. There was some really hard conversation, I think, inside that team. So, and interesting, I saw him make a mistake down the escape road the other day, and the way he'd rejoined the track, there was an immense amount of frustration built up in that cockpit. So Bottas is not a happy Formula One driver as we speak.
No real change in wind, Max. Tailwind still at 4, 15, 16, so maximum concentration in those corners.
Looking on board here, I tell you what, this looks like slow motion for the Dutchman. He is absolutely in control of this.
Sebastian Vettel closes up to the back of his old teammate. These two have a little bit of history together, and this was all made possible by that long stint at the start of the Grand Prix from Sebastian Vettel, and it means he's got a tyre advantage now. Charles Leclerc has been on his hard tyres for 20 laps, and Sebastian Vettel has been on his for 11, and a potential for wheel-to-wheel action between the two of them looks likely. Charles Leclerc, though, has closed in on Pierre Gasly, who is not enjoying those hard tyres at all, and so we've got a three-car battle for 5th place at the moment.
Yeah, those are the 11-lap offset that Sebastian has will be very, very handy, even in another 15, 20 laps from now. Obviously, that's the end of the race, 20 laps from now, but it's just going to keep compound its way away in his favour. So Leclerc will be aware of that. He would have been told that by his engineers. As Alex said, Gasly doesn't look as comfortable in his radio. Oh, he's got an engine problem.
Okay, it's back now, Pierre. It's back now. Oh, we are not seeing an issue.
Well, that's extraordinary because, you know, if the driver is actually a pretty good bit of... big shunt!
Big shunt for Lance Stroll into the wall, and that will bring out the safety car. A huge moment for the Canadian driver who had yet to stop, and he has left debris all over the road. We'll hope he's okay. A big moment there, and he's lost it on the flat-to-the-floor section at turn on the main straight. So Lance Stroll loses the Aston Martin, and that will be a safety car for sure. The pit entry is closed as well, and the safety car will be out on track. We hope that Lance is all right, because that is a ferociously fast part.
Yeah, maybe a tyre failure. I mean, I don't know how he's dropped it in this section of the track, but he's gone very long. He has gone long on this stint, but these tyres are, mileage-wise, predicted to be well and truly inside the range he was trying to achieve.
Yeah, 40 laps they're meant to be able to do. We're not even close to that.
No, let's see if he has had any type of failure that's caught him out. He's had a tyre failure in Mugello a few years ago. Remember that, up through the 2 Arrabbiata 1, Arrabbiata 2. That was a big shunt. So unfortunately, he's used to technical failures. Let's see if it's his fault or a car failure. I'm going left rear tyre failure.
Let's find out. We're on board with the Canadian driver. Oh!
Boom.
That is a huge hit at 200 plus mile an hour. That is a big moment.
Unacceptable. Unacceptable. Cannot have tyre failures at this. Look at that. Tyre has let go on him at over 300 kilometres an hour. That is horrendous for a driver to experience that. He's in the lap of the gods. Here is the radio.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Whoa, red flag, red flag.
Copy that.
Just get me out of this place on the track. Got a puncture.
Copy that. Copy that.
The tyre fails. Now, was it the length that he took it into the race? Remember, he started on that tyre, or is the debris down there that caused that? They will do a thorough track inspection at every marshal post, because that is a scary sight to see. The Canadian driver having a tyre failure, and that is what it looked like behind for Gasly. And Pirelli were confident that that hard tyre could do 40 laps. We are on lap 31 under safety car conditions, and anyone who hasn't had the ultimate pace this weekend might be thinking about gambling when this pit lane opens. And you heard Lance on the radio, get me out of here. Crash in qualifying, crash in the race, and a weekend to forget. Fortunately, he's okay.
Yeah, for Lance's sake, we're really glad to see him out of the car now, but that tyre failure at that sort of speed is unacceptable. But now the drivers have got another challenge to deal with. Now we've got a safety car restart to deal with here in Baku. We've seen so much action down at turn 1 before. I've seen Remember, Daniel Ricciardo doing 2 guys up the inside into turn 1 off the back of one of these, so there's plenty of action to come. Strategy may play a part, as some people may gamble on going back to a soft compounder tyre to sprint to the finish.
Just to reiterate, the pit lane is closed, so no one can take that gamble until race control clear the debris from the path, and there's a lot of it on the exit of the final sweepers. There we are. The safety car has caught the Red Bulls and the race is reset. So which tyre do you now gamble on if you're at the front? And father checking in with son after your worst nightmare as a racing dad, seeing your son involved in a tyre failure at huge speed. The most important thing is the Lance Stroll is all right. Here's the moment that took him out at the Azerbaijan Grand Prix.
Yeah, so look at the steering wheel go left hand down, he catches it, but obviously at that speed there's no chance when the tyre deflates that quickly. I think it's the inside shoulder of that tyre has failed, so it's an instant deflation. If you've got a slow leaking tyre, you might be able to have a chance to hang on to it, but because of the vertical load or the sort of the centrifugal force of actually that tyre doing that such high speed, there's no way he can hang on to that car. That's a big impact on the inside of that wall there. And his commentary, like I say, mate, just get me out of here. He was actually probably quite nervous as a driver here. The other guys are coming past. There's dust, there's debris. Is someone else going to pick something up to make the shunt even bigger? There it is. Watch the left rear go down. Just fishtail him into that left barrier and bang. Yeah, it's not good at all. That is horrendous for a driver to experience that.
And he's quite lucky in some ways that the wall seemed to absorb the car and kind of keep it tucked in alongside the wall, because if he'd bounced back into the middle of the track, then it could have been a completely different story that we saw there. So all things considered, he walks away fine, but yeah, that's not acceptable at this level.
Their traction and their rear end grip through the middle sector is impressive. I definitely can't attack and overtake these guys with these tyres.
Okay, roger.
I think there's a good bit of wear.
Yeah, at the moment we would drop that ton of positions.
restart's going to be difficult. These tyres. Everyone's in the same position, I think.
Yeah, copy loose, we expect that.
He's doing everything, but he can't stop now. Well, he can do what he wants, but obviously he's got them all, you know, queued up behind him. He'd lose a horrendous amount of position. So let's see what happens when the pit lane does open. It'll be interesting.
And we've seen quite a lot of incidents, cars in the barrier, safety cars breeding safety cars from the F2 races already this weekend. And Lewis checking in with Pete Bonington on the radio there, just making the point that he's aware that it's going to take a while to fire up these tyres and get everything in the temperature range that you would want.
What this should do is obviously it's bunched all the cars out on track back together, and it gives the front three a clear running really to the flag. You shouldn't expect to come across any back markers now to the end of the race unless anyone decides to come in and do an extra stop towards the rear of the grid. But yeah, that whole back marker effect and how we saw the gains and the losses from where you overtook them on the circuit, that shouldn't really now play a part to the end of the race.
They're still discussing things. You can see the team tactics button being pressed there on the pit wall as they discuss their options. And the pit entry is now open. The lap cars may now overtake as per the rule book. So thanks to the marshals for clearing the debris down there. And who fancies a gamble at the back of the field? At the front, doesn't look like anyone fancies it. There's normally a grandstand in the way of that glorious fountain, in the way of the park, but we've got no spectators here, sadly, this year. And is anyone else coming in, or are they all going to stay in the train? As Mazepin overtakes the safety car and will attempt to get his lap back. He was the only car that was a lap down after his error at turn number 4. It appears that we've got Fernando Alonso, Antonio Giovinazzi, Russell and Schumacher have decided to come in at an angle. Wider, slow lane here for the teams to go to work. So, as expected, only the drivers at the back are going for changes. Alonso 2.4, Giovinazzi 2.3, Russell with fresher tyres. That's going to make the battle for the final point very interesting. It promotes Nicholas Latifi up to 13th place. And it's a problem for Mick Schumacher in the Haas, who hasn't made it down. And they're going to have to push him back. You can do that if you're inside the white line. That's a real disappointment. They're going to have to push him back to the box. All the while, the safety car preparing to peel off.
Maybe there's a tyre not fitted correctly. They managed to call him back. But anyway, that is not important at the moment because we have a juicy restart on our hands. When will Verstappen hit the gas?
Perez is going to think about keeping the rapid Lewis Hamilton. We've heard all the way through this race that this is the sector where the Red Bull is impressive. And we've heard from the Mexican driver that Hamilton is rapid in a straight line. They've all got to be careful, though, to maintain tyre and brake temperature. Mick Schumacher onto the Red Bull soft tyre. And it's the front left.
Stop the car, stop the car, stop the car, stop the car.
Stop the car, stop the car, Mick, stop the car.
We'll never get to see what he could have done on the Red Bull soft tyre.
So just be a matter of 2 or 3 laps to get these tyres back up to temperature, Max.
For the safety car to disappear back to the pit lane, a long time to wait before you get to the legal line that you can go racing at again.
Lewis is waiting. Hamilton is waiting. He is so keen to try and launch Perez if he can. Max has been patient here, going late, very late.
Huge anticipation. Verstappen, Perez, Hamilton, Gasly, Leclerc and Vettel, the top 6. but it's still a long time. And now he goes. He's judged that one perfectly, but the second place man is going to be under pressure from Lewis Hamilton. They're all worried about lockups. That's what we saw from Pierre Gasly, but they're maintaining position. Slow off the corner there. There's a place gain for Sebastian Vettel, who moves up to 5th position, and he's got a lockup in the background there, very close to hitting his old teammate, but Sebastian Vettel gets past Charles Leclerc. The top 4 stay as they were, and now Vettel's on the charge. He's warming his tyres up far quicker. We look ahead to the battle for second place, and Perez hangs on to it. Can Vettel improve? No, Gasly hangs on. Will he make the corner? That's deep, but he does hang on to 4th position, I should say. He stays ahead. Vettel gaining 1 place on that restart, up to 5th.
Yeah, punchy from Sebastian. He's loving this afternoon, isn't he? He's going a lot of positions with strategy, and now he's going wheel to wheel, getting the job done on Leclerc. Leclerc will not be happy with that. His old teammate. No love lost between those two, and he's still trying to jink around there and get some front tyre temp. What do you reckon, Billy?
Well, Bottas is dropping down the order. Alonso's got past him on a soft. Daniel Ricciardo's passed him as well. So, yeah, punchy on the first few corners there from Sebastian Vettel. He's got much fresher, hard tyres. And obviously, those fresher tyres, that extra little bit of grip he's had, he's managed to capitalise on it massively. A great job from him.
Bottas has lost another position. Kimi Raikkonen has got through as well. So a horrible weekend for the Finnish driver. Goes from bad to worse. He's down to 13th position. And Alonso has a chance to get himself back into the points on fresh, soft tyres. He's up against drivers on old hards. Everyone ahead of him has done over 20 laps on those hard tyres, so he can go maximum attack to the end of the race. 2.2 seconds between Red Bulls on this restart lap. Max Verstappen judging it perfectly. Now, Sebastian Vettel had a great opening stint of the race. Gives him a chance now to line up Gasly, and through he goes. Fresher tyres, more speed. The Aston Martin heading up to 4th place, and Sebastian Vettel has come alive in this Grand Prix. That's the old sort of form that we're used to seeing, and the next cars ahead of him are on the podium.
Yeah, inspiring stuff. That's what nice tonic for the team after seeing his teammate have a nasty incident. So if he can jack some huge points today, they'll be very relieved with that. There's Lewis again. He's just trying to get these tyres back up to temp. Max is gone already. He's happy as you like. Cold tyres, hot tyres, whatever you want to serve up today, he's out of there. And Perez as well, looking pretty comfortable. So here's the replay. Oh, this is the replay of the restart. Watch this, just sheer warm-up. Watch this through the inside here. And what you can't see in the mirrors here, Leclerc is all locked up, or you're about to, because they've flicked to it. Watch this, he nearly tags the back. Oh, that was close. And then he gets a beautiful toe off Gasly down to turn 3 to get the job done. So look at this, coming in hot, baby.
They were warned about tyre temperature. That's the reason why. But thankfully, this time, not contact between the old teammates. After they've seen it before. Here's Gasly on the way.
That's not possible.
Gasly, having worked so hard, sees himself close to the Aston Martin once again. This is Kimi Raikkonen making the move on Valtteri Bottas, and Raikkonen to the inside, late on the brakes, goes to the inside and takes the position. You won't see many overtakes into turn 7, but Raikkonen was able to make one there on his countryman. the major incident of the race, a tyre failure, or what appeared to be a tyre failure for Lance Stroll. This part of the circuit when the driver is fully committed. Thankfully, he's okay, but it's worked out well for his teammate. Hamilton is staying within the wheel tracks of Perez, and now he's going to shape for the move for the first time. All that effort regrouping, trying to ruin Red Bull's first 1-2 since 2016 with the fastest lap of the race as well. He's not given up on second place in this Grand Prix.
His bank account's all right, but he'd give a couple of pennies for that straight to be just another 50 metres longer, I think, mate, just to get the job done. It's just a sniff short for him, even though how long it is, but he's like, because he's having to work so hard in this part of the track with this aerodynamic difference between the cars. But when he gets onto that long back straight, look at him, he's fighting the rear of the car through that sequence of corners there. I like it through here. Watch the the front wheels will literally pop up through there. There's they've got the rear of the cars quite soft to have good traction, so the front end sort of nimbleness of the cars is sort of compromised at this track. So the boys are working hard, especially Lewis Hamilton through this section here. The car is not happy here, but he's just strapping it on his back and he's doing what he can.
Riding on board with the world champion. He makes his way to the middle part of Sector 2. Such a long lap here. It's all about commitment through these corners as he goes to turn 15. Another position lost for Valtteri Bottas. This is one of the most chastening days he will have had in his entire Formula One career. The 9-time winner, the driver who's led so many laps around this venue, a former winner here as well, loses another position. He's down to 14th place as Antonio Giovinazzi makes those fresh tyres work and improves up to 13th. Vettel in a strong 4th place as well. His last 5 races on your screen at the moment. What an upturn in form. Shows you what a bit of confidence can do for a driver. Tells the story of the one in 4th clearly tells the story of the one in 14th as well. The difference in confidence levels enormous between Vettel on the up and Bottas struggling at the moment. He's 1.9 seconds ahead of George Russell. Same power unit as well, and Russell will be wary of what happened in Imola. Can't afford a repeat of that on a day where he disappointed. Toto Wolff said in the build-up to this Grand Prix there was a lot of tough love dished out after Imola. They know that George Russell has huge potential. But a day to forget for him back in the second Grand Prix of the year. This is the 6th one, and it looks like being, with 10 laps to go, an extended advantage in the World Championship for Red Bull and for Max Verstappen. Looks like a maiden podium for Sergio Perez in second position. Hamilton just trying to do anything he can to frighten him off the road. Lando Norris putting a bit of pressure now on Yuki Tsunoda. He's trying to deliver his best result in Formula 1. And after a few tough races as well, a few races where they felt the need to move him closer to the factory in Italy, this would be a great response from the Japanese driver if he can put it P7. Having scored points on debut, he's now got to try and repel one of the drivers of the season so far, Lando Norris.
Yeah, he's still got a big 9 laps ahead of him. Norris is not finished with him. Here's Lewis.
Can't get any closer.
Yeah, he's still just frustrated that the car, he can't generate the speed in the part of the lap he needs to try and get closer to have that DRS effect and get the move done. He can only do the move in one location. That's on the brakes for turn 1, maybe turn 3, but he just can't. He's losing too much ground in the other sections of the lap. So he's just reminding the team that he's still trying to do his best. Oh, yeah, close to Noda. What's that wall there? Jeez, it was a Pirelli branding gap between that.
It's the narrowest part of the entire season, and he's not leaving much on the table.
I got a lot of vibration.
Lando, it's coming from the right front, so just be careful of that time.
Okay, and that's a nightmare for a driver because it's linked then to speed. So when you've got a vibration on a tyre, so this section of the track, for example, for him, the faster the car goes, the vibration gets even more extreme. So, you know, if you think about when you put your lips outside the windscreen of a car, or just put the window down and there your lips are, sometimes that's what it feels like. It's pretty brutal on the whole body and your eyes, and he's doing it 300, well over 210 mile an hour here, so it's pretty extraordinary when you got a vibration. It's on the driver's feelings.
Sergio Perez having his best day by far for Red Bull, performing the role that they signed him to do, and he is leading Hamilton home. It's going to be a huge day for Red Bull, going to extend their lead in the Constructors' Championship, and the drivers as well, as they take hold of this World Championship battle, at least for now. A long way to go, so many races. We're going all the way to December in Abu Dhabi, and we don't know what the kind of the spin. There's a Red Bull into the wall.
Verstappen.
It's Max Verstappen into the wall, and he's had an issue that sent him out of the race with 5 laps to go. Sergio Perez takes the lead and will need a safety car. Max Verstappen has lost it on the main straight.
Tyre failure.
The Red
Has to be
Bull
tyre failure.
spins around, and a certain race victory is ripped from his grasp. It changes the picture in the World Championship, and it leaves the Mexican driver Sergio Perez looking at a second win. It's another tyre failure.
That is unacceptable at this level. That is completely unacceptable. Max Verstappen there, he was in cruise control in this race. He had it wrapped up. He was out front. He nailed the restart, got that lead. You could see how frustrated he was on that radio message. That shouldn't happen.
It looked calm every time we went on board with him. They were just coaxing it to the finish. You can see all the photographers down there. A certain victory slips through Max Verstappen's fingers. He's out of the Azerbaijan Grand Prix with just 5 laps to go. And that could be a huge turning point in the World Championship this year. That was extraordinary stuff.
Yeah, I really, really feel for Max. I feel for the whole team. It's the only part that they don't design. They put all that work in, all that effort. He's literally got the finish line in sight within a few laps after all the trauma. Here's Leclerc.
We are still racing.
That's a joke. That's a joke. Put safety car out straight away. What are they waiting?
The drivers are furious. This is a high-profile problem for Pirelli, because, you know, everyone has done the utmost of this team to get the victory today. Look at the poor mechanics. You know, it's unacceptable. Leclerc is furious for Max. He feels for him. He's seen the failure. Watch this. Same left rear as Stroll. Watch the steering. There it goes.
Oh. He's doing over 200 miles an hour when that tyre lets go, and we have seen 2 massive accidents today. It's a relief that both drivers are okay, but you could see the despair down at Red Bull to see a win disappear. And look, you can see avoiding action, Perez, who goes up into the lead, Verstappen out of the race, and it promotes Sebastian Vettel to the podium in 3rd place. A dramatic end to the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. There's the moment that it lets go. Pirelli brought the softer compounds to this race after there was no real tyre degradation at all. But my word, after doing everything right, Max Verstappen sees the victory slip through his fingers, and look at the disappointment for Christian Horner. Their wait for a 1-2 goes on, and Max Verstappen loses a whole chunk of points as the pendulum swings in the World Championship.
Christian was calmer than me. Tell you what, if I was in his shoes, I'd be kicking off. They've done absolutely nothing wrong. Look at that, he's dejected. Young lad trying to, you know, as you said, mate, the form coming into this week, and he's been on fire, he's been driving brilliantly. It's a really, really tough pill to swallow when you have something that's outside your control. It's not the team's control letting you down.
I would be pretty surprised if race control let us race anymore after seeing 2 tyre failures on the main straight. I think this one might well finish behind the safety car, and what a strange way for Perez to claim his first ever Red Bull victory. The team are distraught. They're still likely to win the race, but in such strange circumstances because they've been denied the 1-2, and it lets Mercedes and Lewis Hamilton off the hook. But what a story for Sebastian Vettel, up 8 places to the podium. And Azerbaijan bites back once again, but there will be ramifications after this one. You cannot have... Well, I'll leave it to you guys.
Is that tyre failure from a punch, you think, or just wear?
It's difficult to say whether it's a wear or damage, but Verstappen caused that issue.
keeping it neutral for Lewis's state of mind there, just to make sure that, you know, Lewis is correctly asking the questions. He wants to understand, you know, these tyres failing at high speed. Have we got a restart here? Because also when there's lower pressures on a restart, it's even more dangerous for a tyre to go at full noise on these long straights. So Pirelli just look like they're on the edge here.
And it's a red flag. So the red flag now out. That will bring all the cars back to the pit lane. It's going to be a nervy wait to find out whether that's it, that's the race result, or we have a grandstand finish and a restart here. This was the moment where Max Verstappen's hopes of Grand Prix victory in Baku for the first time disappeared.
Oh, really, really frightening for him on board. No, the failure, concrete walls all around him at that speed. Just watch the line. You can see the two lines. See that? The casing's failed. So the tyre's just, the shoulder, probably inside, which was Stroll's as well. The inside has given up. And there's the tyre. Pirelli tyre failing.
Is he okay?
Yeah, ain't fun.
Yeah, so Lewis is concerned about Max's health, but watch him give this a little bit of a boot here. Gives it some of his own rubber.
I'm not surprised.
Yep.
After seeing that one get away from him.
I think it's a tyre failure. You know, they're at the end of their life.
Yeah, but we had less laps than Hamilton.
With which car? We have one less lap with Max.
You think?
I mean, it's exactly the same tyre that failed on Stroll. So I think it's a tyre issue.
But it came out of nowhere. What's that?
This is the failure of Stroll. So this is the first one we've had today. I mean, there's absolutely no chance a Formula 1 driver can catch that. You're an absolute passenger when the left rear or any tyre on a car deflates at that speed. The forces are just against you. And he got away with it. So very interesting that both drivers have suffered. And here's Max further down the straight. Moves his way to the right-hand side, and there she goes. She starts to unload now, and she's gone. You hear him hit the throttle again when he hit the wall there, so his foot's gone forward. He's downshifting. He's just instinct doing that. But I want you to see the two lines there on the straight, and then it flicks. Look how far he's come down from the fade. He gives you an indication of the speed these cars are going. Now watch, Perez misses it. Lewis does as well, but there's still some fine shards.
Max Verstappen had done 33 laps on that hard tyre.
Michael, I know you're busy. We got 0 warning of that failure. Nothing. Nothing on a metric, not a vibration.
Yeah, okay,
nothing.
Jonathan,
So
let me try and get this and then we'll have a look.
Our point is, consider a red flag and the opportunity for everyone to change tyres.
Yep, thanks, Jonathan.
So that's fair. Jonathan Wheatley, that's a fair shout. Jonathan saying that with all the telemetry and algorithms that they've got at their disposal, which is a truckload, there'll be team also back in Milton Keynes looking at this, to say they had absolutely no warning. So that was an instantaneous failure. Caught them by surprise. And I mean, sometimes you have a little bit of a warning, a vibration, or there's a bit of the tyre starting to lose some pressure. That's the front of Lewis Hamilton's front wing, I believe. Now that has taken a serious amount of debris in the front end there. Just in the middle of the section of the wing there, which is a prescription section in terms of regulation. You can't design that section, sort of tamper with that part of the wing. That's why it's quite a boring part in design, but it still would be interesting for them to change that. And there's young Max. You know, you're going to be speechless. There's Raymond, his manager, through the back there, talking to Helmut Marko. They have not put a foot wrong. Well, he has. In P3 he did shunt, but in the race today it was special.
So Nicholas Latifi was under investigation for not going into the pit lane.
Stay out, stay out, stay out, stay out, stay out, stay out. Up. Through the pit lane, but no pit stop. Huh? Through the pit lane, but no pit stop.
Ah, you told me to stay out. Stay out means stay on the track.
Sorry, sorry.
So communication breakdown, which is going to lead to a penalty for Nicholas Latifi.
So Michael, so both instance safety cars, so no, they did not slow down. So a surprise hasn't been investigated.
Quite simply, for me, the entire field should be penalised for not slowing for double yellows, the way in accordance with the regulations.
But his is obvious, Michael.
Paul?
He hasn't lifted whatsoever.
Paul, for me, all of them are obvious. So lifting a little bit for me is not enough, and I'm going to tell all drivers accordingly at the next meeting.
Okay, understood.
So getting information. It's a standing start. Standing start.
You got to remember that this is a marathon, not a sprint, so got to be measured how aggressive we go.
Yeah, copy, Lewis.
Absolutely agree, Lewis.
So the fastest at the moment is Verstappen minus 1.2, but that won't count for the point. That's pretty tight.
after that delay, we've been given the green light. Genuine, uncharted territory for Formula One, because we're about to get a standing start. It's a rule change from a few years ago, but it will be in hardly any time of the race remaining. George Russell's got a problem. Are they going to be able to get this one underway with a car blocking the pit lane? Well, Lewis Hamilton smoking at the front. Here come the lights for the second start of the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. We're underway, lights out, and Perez immediately jumps across. Lewis Hamilton's going to get the lead. Lewis Hamilton takes it away, but he locks off, and he's lost it. Perez goes back into the lead of the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. Up to second place goes Sebastian Vettel. Gasly is now on the podium. Charles Leclerc moves up to fourth. Deep into there is absolute chaos on the restart. And Lewis Hamilton, who had 18 points over Max Verstappen in the championship, sees it slip through his fingers. This one's not over yet. They're still trying to get the tyres up to temperature. Side by side with Norris risking it against Yuki Tsunoda. Lando Norris trying to go up to fifth place. Tsunoda's not going to let that one go though. Will they make it through turn 4? They will, with Lando Norris momentarily ahead and up to fifth place. It's chaos here. Here's Fernando Alonso around the outside to take the position away. Alonso up to sixth. Sergio Perez is very, very close now. Up to sixth goes Fernando Alonso. It's Perez, Vettel. Oh, there's a lock up there, but they will make the corner. Perez, Vettel, Gasly, Leclerc, Norris, the top 5.
Whoa, that was unbelievable. Lewis Hamilton straight ahead of turn 1. He said on the radio he wasn't going to take all the risks. Well, guess what? He did take a risk. He won the start, tried to go down the inside and down the escape road. So he's just hemorrhaged 18 clear World Championship points in this Drivers' World Championship. And Perez is in the box. Here he is, Lewis.
Oh, I'm so sorry, guys.
Yeah, don't sweat it, Lewis. Don't sweat it.
Yeah, he knows that was his fault. Unusual for him, but anyway, Perez is well on his way. And can he claim his first victory for Red Bull?
He's about to go on to the final lap. This has been extraordinary, even by Baku standards. They're still fighting over second place, though, as we go on to the 51st and last tour. And it's Charles Leclerc who started this race on pole, trying to take the final place on the podium. He had no straight line speed before, but he's got it now to move up to third place as Gasly tries to fight back on the final lap, the final 3.7 miles. And the Frenchman's down the inside to reclaim the position. He makes the corner, and Sergio Perez is nearly there. He's side by side, the two of them are still battling for the final spot on the podium, and this is going to bring Lando Norris into play as well. Gasly ahead of Leclerc, ahead of Lando Norris. We're on board with the Monegasque driver who's shaping back. What a tussle between these two, side by side for another corner. Gasly stays ahead.
Extraordinary battle from these two. Norris has a little flick down the inside of turn 4, couldn't make it there. Traction out of here as they run up to the next sequence of corners. Can he run around the outside here? He's going to have a... No, he's not. So Leclerc, discretion of the better part of Valor there. He's going to have to battle their way through this next part of this sector through here. Vettel's clear. Gasly's clear. I think that's how they could finish. Let's see if Norris can get a big toe to the line, but I think that could be the finishing order. Unbelievable last few laps. Even though I'm not a huge fan of what's happened here, I must say the lion's share of the Grand Prix was done, but great entertainment in the last few minutes here.
Sergio Perez is nearly there. He's nearly home for so much of this Grand Prix. He ran in second place. He had Lewis Hamilton all over the back of him. Then, on the restart, he had him ahead, but he kept a cool head. He made turn 1, and what an extraordinary finish to the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. The Mexican driver just has to bring it home through the final sweepers. Red Bull are going to win this Grand Prix. It looked for so long like it was going to be Max Verstappen, but it's the Mexican driver who will look up and see the checkered flag for only the second time in Formula One. Sergio Perez comes across the line to win in Formula One. He's won the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. Vettel is second. Gasly is getting on the podium. It's Vettel's first trip to the rostrum with Aston Martin, and Pierre Gasly is stepping onto a podium for just the third time in his career, and it looked as if Lewis Hamilton had dived to the inside. What a brilliant result for Aston Martin, for AlphaTauri, but it's Perez who wins and immediately pulls to the side of the track.
Well done, Sergio! Well done. Thank you for finishing that off for us. Great job.
This is for you guys.
Stop the car, stop the car,
job.
stop the car, stop at pit exit.
Wow, they must have had a little technical issue straight away there, but that is relief, absolute relief.
Let's go.
Thank you guys, thank you, and I'm very sorry for Max, but yeah.
No, well done you. Well done. Enjoy your moment up there with Pierre. Good to see you up there. Proud of you.
That was epic, Checo. That was epic.
Incredible. Thank you.
Yes, mate. Well done.
Yes, 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 yes. Great job. Hey, 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 hey. That's a podium, man. That's a wrap. Thank you. Car was amazing today. Woohoo!
Good job, man. Good job. Well done. Thank you, Fernando.
Here's the winner, by the way, after all of this. Looked like he was going to give Red Bull a 1-2. He hasn't got his car, but I tell you what he has got. He's got the applause of the AlphaTauri mechanics, the Red Bull mechanics, and the man they signed to pick up the pieces if it didn't work out for Verstappen did just that. The bold move rewarded. Christian Horner, Helmut Marko, absolutely delighted.
I said it, didn't I? Checo, come here! Checo, come on! Get the flag up! Flag!
Did I have magic on?
Yeah, but yeah, just knock that on.
I could have sworn I turned it off.
Yeah, you did, but knocked it on with the upshift.
Let's hear now from the top three, speaking to Paul di Resta.
Pierre Gasly, another podium. I mean, I can see what it means to you. Outstanding. How does it feel?
Incredible. Honestly, I don't really know what to say. It was such an insane race and, you know, super intense last 2 laps. The car has been incredible all weekend and, you know, we showed every session we were there. Qualifying was mega. I didn't know if we could keep up that position or fight for even a podium, and in the end we did it. So, you know, I finished already once first, once second, and I missed that third place. So now it feels incredible to get that podium.
And they're going to sit on the mantelpiece, but what a battle you had. We're just seeing it in the background between Charles Leclerc and the last lap as you started it. He passed you, you passed him back and got your muscles out.
We had to get the elbows out. It was a very difficult race from mid-race onwards with the engine issue. So we're losing quite a lot of power down the straights, and Seb managed to pass us in the middle of the race. I knew that these last 2 laps were going to be very difficult with Charles behind, and you know, I tried it. Every braking, I wasn't sure if I was going to stop the car, but I had to go for it. I really wanted that podium, and it just feels incredible after such a good weekend.
And the team looked pretty happy as well. With nice celebrations tonight.
Sorry?
You'll have some nice celebrations tonight with the team.
Yeah, exactly. Some really good points, and you know, I'm very happy Yuki did a good race as well. So, no, all in all, fantastic job, and hopefully we can celebrate all together tonight.
Congratulations.
Thanks.
Sebastian, something's clicked the last 2 races. P2, first Aston Martin podium since I've come back to Formula 1. What does this mean to the team?
I think it means a great deal. Obviously, it's been a tough start for us, and yeah, I think it was a great race. We had good pace. That was the key. Obviously, I had a good start, made some positions straight away, then looked after my tires as soon as everybody went to the pits. I had really good pace to overcut, I think, Yuki at least, and then obviously the restart worked brilliantly for me. Got another 2 positions there, and yeah, I mean, we obviously had fresher tires, which I guess helped warming up the tires later on. So yeah, great day. I mean, I'm over the moon. I think that for the team it is great. Obviously a podium, we didn't expect that when we came here, but already on Friday, even though we were nowhere, it felt good. I was quite relaxed, and yesterday we didn't quite get it, but today even sweeter.
I want to talk about yesterday because you had a brand new set of soft tyres for that small dash. I know it was important to go to Q3, but the progression was absolutely key to getting to the end of the race on that nice set. You can't hear me, there's too much noise going on.
But I think, you know, strategy-wise, obviously it would have been it's always better to start further up, but yeah, that new tyre for sure didn't hurt because other people had a couple of laps on from qualifying, so it helped us to go longer, but we really preserved the tyres well, and I think that was the secret, plus the pace that we had. I think in the race, as I said, the car felt good, and it was the key to keep progressing and chipping forwards.
Nice one. Enjoy it, Sebastian. coming forward, another race winner this year. Checo, another race win with Red Bull. I mean, what a mad race that was.
Yeah, I'm so happy for today. You know, the race, normally Baku is pretty crazy. First of all, I have to say I'm very sorry for Max because he did a tremendous race and he really deserved the win. It would have been incredible, you know, to get that 1-2 for the team. But at the end, you know, it is a fantastic day for us. We were close to retire the car, but luckily we managed to finish the race. And it was quite difficult all the way till the end.
I mean, you had a 7-time world champion pushing you all the way through the stints, and then when it came down to the restart, tell me what you were thinking when you lined up there for that restart, what you were going to do.
He had very strong pace throughout the race, you know. I think we had a bit of a slow stop as well, so the overcut came a bit closer to him, and he just pushed me from lap onwards. You know, I had the pressure on him from him pretty much since the beginning, and and then at the start, I had a poor start, so he was alongside me, but I was like, I'm not going to miss it. You know, I broke as late as I possibly can, and he did the same, but it didn't work for him. At least it's a good day for the team.
And as Checo clicked with this Red Bull car now, can you go confident to the next race you're going to be in the same performance?
Yeah, this is definitely a strong boost of confidence for myself and for the team.
Well done, Checo. Enjoy it.
Thank you.
Here it is, ladies and gentlemen, the podium for the sports Azerbaijan Grand Prix Round 6 of the FIA's Formula 1 World Championship. In third place, Pierre Gasly of France. His best result so far this year.
Time to welcome the top three to the podium then. For only the third time in his Formula 1 career, Pierre Gasly. For the first time since Turkey last year, Sebastian Vettel is on a podium, and it's the first time in green he celebrates. Aston Martin's first ever podium in Formula 1.
His second career victory.
But it's a brilliant day for Checo Perez, who heads onto the podium, delighted, and he's onto the top step to hear his national anthem.
Well done to Sergio Perez, congratulations to him. The trophies are presented by Ismailov, the deputy by Ismail.
For only the second time in Formula One, Sergio Perez is the winner.
To Red Bull Racing, Honda, represented
And it's
by
Pierre Vache
the technical director.
on the podium. They came onto the rostrum arm in arm. And Red Bull would have thought a few meters into the restart that the opportunity had gone. Aston Martin now have their first podium in Formula One thanks to this man. And you can see what it means to him to triumph with the squad based just at Silverstone, just outside the gates of the circuit. And Pierre Gasly had to work so hard, didn't he? Wheel to wheel with the Ferrari, corner after corner. But it's another trophy for the mantelpiece. And after a long and dramatic day on the streets of Baku, on a day where Verstappen and Hamilton didn't score, their number 2 is their number 1. It's Mexico's day. It's Sergio Perez's day.
What an incredible Grand Prix. We predicted drama and you got drama. Join us after the break when we'll analyse the race and hear from Hamilton, Verstappen and Vettel.